I told myself I was never going to make another Path of Exile 2 crash video because why would I? I've already made 3 and the last one should have fixed your shit, and if it didn't, then you're probably shit out of luck, so I guess that bodes the question, what the hell is there really else to talk about? Let's find out, shall we?
Dem Feind gelungen, die Front in breiter Formation zu durchbrechen. Im Süden hat der Gegner Zossen genommen und stößt auf Stahnsdorf vor. Der Feind operiert jetzt am nördlichen Stadtrand zwischen Frohnau und Pankow und im Osten ist der Feind bis zur Linie Lichtenberg-Marsdorf-Karlshorst gelangt.
Mit dem Angriff Steiners wird das alles in Ordnung kommen.
Mein Führer, Steiner
konnte nicht genügend Kräfte für einen Angriff massieren. Der Angriff Steiner ist nicht erfolgt.
Es bleiben im Raum Keitel, Jodl, Krebs und Burgdorf. Das war ein Befehl! Der Angriff Steiners war ein Befehl! Wer schickt Sie, dass Sie es wagen, sich meinen Befehl zu widersetzen? So weit ist das also gekommen. Das Militär hat mich belogen! Jeder hat mich belogen, sogar die SS! Die gesamte Generalität ist nichts weiter als ein Haufen niederträchtiger, treuloser Feiglinge!
Mein Führer, ich kann nicht zulassen, dass die Soldaten, die für Sie verbringen...
Nicht als Feiglinge! Verreiter, Versager!
Mein Führer, was Sie da sagen, ist ungeheuerlich!
Die Generalität ist das Geschmeiß des deutschen Volkes! Sie ist ohne Ehre! Sie nennen sich Generale, weil Sie Jahre auf Militärakademien zugebracht haben, nur um zu lernen, wie man Messer und Gabel hält! Jahrelang hat das Militär meine Aktionen nur behindert! Es hat mir jeden nur ersichtlichen Widerstand in den Weg gelegt! Ich hätte gut daran getan, von Jahren alle höheren Offiziere liquidieren zu lassen, wie Stalin! Ich war nie auf einer Akademie. Und doch habe ich allein auf mich gestellt, ganz Europa erobert. Verräter! Von allem Anfang an bin ich so verraten und betrogen worden. Es wurde ein ungeheurer Verrat geübt am deutschen Volke. Aber alle diese Verräter werden bezahlen. Mit ihrem eigenen Blut werden sie bezahlen. Sie werden das saufen in ihrem eigenen Blut.
Bitte gerne. Jetzt beruhig dich doch.
Meine Befehle sind in den Wind gesprochen. Es ist unmöglich, unter diesen Umständen zu führen. Es ist aus. Der Krieg ist verloren. Aber wenn Sie, meine Herren, glauben, dass ich deswegen Berlin verlasse, irren Sie sich gewaltig. Eher jage ich mir eine Kugel durch den Kopf. Tun Sie, was Sie wollen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy YungYdoc, of course, and just like that, Grinding Gear Games is back from vacation.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers.
Now, you probably already know that Gazzy TV and Darth Microtransaction just had a sit-down interview with Jonathan and Mark, developers behind Path of Exile 2 from Grinding Gear Games, to address the community's burning questions regarding what's upcoming for patch 0.1.1. And everybody was thrilled with the results, right? Not quite everybody. Now, we're not going to look at the patch notes in this video because everybody's already done that. You've seen the video, you heard the announcement, you saw the interview, you know what's coming. But what's not coming? Huh? Probably people crashing in Path of Exile 2. Recently, what I've been covering in this channel is trying to help people who are struggling with their Path of Exile 2 client from crashing or freezing, oftentimes leading to them having to force restart their computer, and a lot of people even bricking their PCs. Basically, whatever is happening when they're shutting down while playing Path of Exile 2, for some reason their computer just doesn't turn back on. Now, you can blame it on Path of Exile 2, or you can blame it on user error or perhaps faulty hardware inside their system. I really don't care, because you know what you know, and no one's going to change your mind on that, are they? For myself personally, I haven't hard crashed once. I've soft crashed 3 times to desktop, and that might have happened 3 times over the course of about 100 hours. Didn't really bother me a whole lot. But when one of my very good friends ran into this issue, I immediately jumped in to try to help him get back into the game. But the more we tried, the more we failed to find a solution. So then this prompted me to dig deeper, and to my surprise, there was an overwhelming amount of players online dealing with the exact same issues. And it was at this moment, in the darkest corners of the Path of Exile forums, where these poor creatures lurked, that a light need venture into the darkness, a voice for those who felt abandoned and forgotten, as weeks would go by without a response from Grinding Gear Games. Yeah, and that wasn't really me, but you know, I tried. We're talking about almost nearly 400 pages on just this thread alone, and the silence is almost deafening to the point where you're starting to almost wonder, are they dodging this issue? Almost as if you were to bring it up, they'd,
More to buff in the Mace Spectrum than there is in most of the other things, I'd say, yes.
Of course, obviously, I'm joking. Now, if you caught the live Tavern Talk interview with the developers, then you would have seen the chat fired up with their burning questions for Jonathan and Mark. And one concern I noticed in both Twitch and YouTube live chat was that players were concerned about the crashes that they were experiencing in-game. Constantly spamming crashes, help me, why am I CPU multi-threading in the game? Why am I having to download third-party programs? Why is this happening to my game? I just want to play. However, during the interview, to my surprise, they did briefly touch on crashing, though it's not the answer that people were seeking. They basically said that it might be possibly some NVIDIA card driver issues, and that they're seeking advice from NVIDIA on what they can do about those specific NVIDIA crashes, and that they'll look into it more. Yet here's the problem. What about people who aren't even using NVIDIA GPUs? What about AMD users? They're crashing too. And because people aren't using NVIDIA drivers, they're using AMD. If you look at these mega threads, or if I look at my friends, a lot of them are having issues with their CPU. And oftentimes they find a solution or temporary workaround or fix when they're able to reduce the cores inside their CPU with tools like Process Lasso, for example. A lot of people have found a fix with that. So it's a CPU issue, which Path of Exile 2 is known for being heavily demanding of the CPU. How do you explain hundreds of players using old PCs, new PCs, their dad's PC, their brother's laptop, their old laptop, GTX 4070, 80, 90s, maybe a 7900 XTX GPU, Intel CPU, AMD CPU, all with harmonious hardware and software compatibility, yet they're still seeing these crashes? It's not just a NVIDIA crash issue. It's not just a NVIDIA driver issue. Contact NVIDIA if you will for those players, but what about everybody else? Now, a lot of players have found fixes through various forums and videos online, but a lot of players are still left in the dark right now, and they're at their wits' end about what to do. And when I created my first crash fix video, surprisingly, a lot of the community was fairly negative in response. Gaslighting, dismissive comments, accusing players that it was entirely user error, or that their PC and hardware was just old, and that Path of Exile 2 was the catalyst to push their hardware over the edge to an inevitable death. Or perhaps it was the Windows version 24H2 warriors who claimed with confidence that this was the fix because they found success regressing to 23H2, and even that Windows themselves admitted to a bad update. Yet mysteriously, those who have never ran 24H2 to begin with on their systems still experiencing these crashes. And see, if you never played Path of Exile 1 or much less heard of GGG, Grinding Gear Games cares about their player base. They listen to feedback and they communicate with the community. They're a shining example of what game developers should be. A savior in a world full of half-baked products and corporate greed. And I generally agree with this sentiment, especially when you compare them to other game studios. Grinding Gear Games is certainly working quickly to ensure that they meet the demands of the player base, but not quite all the player base. Not everybody can have fun, dude, okay? Some people have to have issues so we can feel better when we're in game and you're crashing on the forums. Fuck. But surely they wouldn't leave thousands in the dark who can't play the game at all, especially after spending $30 to $500 on supporter packs just to play early access. Would they? Well, I'm not so sure they'll be looking into it. In fact, I believe that a cruel fate may lie in wait for many exiles facing this issue for years to come. During my investigation, I discovered something kind of troubling, which is this isn't just Path of Exile 2 that's experiencing this. Path of Exile 1 has also been experiencing this for years. When you dive deep into the forum threads, you start to see a pattern emerge, and a lot of people are saying that they were experiencing these same CPU issues and crashes in Path of Exile 1. Now think about this. It's the same game engine, same problems, and same silence from Grinding Gear Games. And here's the brutal truth. You may never get a fix from Grinding Gear Games, AMD, NVIDIA, Microsoft, nobody. Maybe they can't fix it, maybe they don't know how, or maybe they just don't want to. And so the vocal minority is pretty much left in the dark with two options right now. Either try it on another computer or buy an entirely new PC and pray that it works. And some people have. There's literally people in here who are like, I spent another $3,000 to get a new computer. I have a 4090 now, everything checks out, and I'm still crashing. And when players report doing exactly that and they're still hitting that wall, I mean, that's gotta be beyond frustrating. Even a simple tweet would go a long way. Hey, we know you're crashing, sorry about that. Refunds are kind of complicated, but if you give us some time and patience, we're gonna work through this so that you can enjoy our amazing game. We'll let you know and update you as soon as we know more. That's it. Wouldn't that be fair? You know? Thank God, now I know that my $500 supporter pack can be redeemable eventually. There's no longer any room for the argument that your PC just sucks and you're the problem, when there's literally hundreds of threads and thousands of pages on the Path of Exile website of people just reaching out to Grinding Gears for a response, let alone a fix. They just want to know, do you hear us? Do you know that we have this issue? There's literally thousands of us. Not me, I'm not crashing. I'm doing this for you guys. Now listen, at the end of the day, after this whole video, okay, I just have to say, it's just a game. Hey, it's just a game. I'm not here to hate on Path of Exile 2. I don't hate Grinding Gear Games, Jonathan Rogers, Mark, or anybody that plays Path of Exile 2. It's a great game. There's no other way to say it. And in fact, I've said it again and again, and I'll say it again one more time. I believe that Path of Exile 2, as a huge ARPG fan, has the potential to be the staple in the action ARPG genre for years to come. I believe that at full release, it will probably be the best action RPG on the market for anybody to consume. And the game's in early access, of course, and we should definitely take that into full consideration. That being said, the issue of thousands of players still dealing with this after paying money still stands. And if you won't issue a refund for these players, or you can't, then the least you can do is respond to their concerns, because they want to play test your game. They don't want to be upset. They want to be in the game with everybody else, killing monsters, getting loot, having a good time, just like everybody else. They were looking forward to this just like everybody else, and that's why they paid money for your early access, so that they can support with the supporter pack and get in early like everybody else. And sure, there's definitely players out there right now on a potato that have no business even trying to play the game on lowest settings possible, but we're not talking about those players right now. We're talking about people with PCs that can pass the most demanding CPU and GPU benchmark testing, any game they throw at it, editing software, whatever, you name it, you throw it at their PC and it's operating optimally with absolutely no issues. And that's well after they gave up trying to find a solution to the Path of Exile 2 crashes in the first place. They go back onto these games that they can play with absolutely no problems, that are much more demanding of their computer, yet they're not crashing. So how do you explain that? This is the only game that's producing these results for many players. And I would hate to know how many people have dealt with multi-threading issues because they played this game and there was a lack of optimization somewhere, somehow, that has now led to the troubles that players are left to face with their hardware. Not being able to play a game is one thing, but not being able to turn on your computer is an entirely different issue. And that's a problem that I think needs addressing. And hopefully one fateful day, they will find a solution to the crash problems that you guys are facing. That's all I have for you guys in this video, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is going to be the last crash video that I make, please God. And yeah, I'm not so sure that I'll really be pumping out any more Path of Exile 2 content necessarily, but I'll definitely be keeping up with the memes, any big news, and you know, I definitely got some other games down the pipeline that I'm going to be interested in developing for some video content on my YouTube channel, man. So make sure to subscribe if you guys want to check that out, man. But other than that, it's your boy YungYdoc. I'm signing off, man. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Make sure you take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next one. that kind of responded. I wrote and filmed this video yesterday, and now today I'm editing it on January 13th, and we just all of a sudden out of nowhere got a response. Hey, now listen, a response is a response. I'll take that over nothing any day, but what I'm starting to think is unless you're on the Path of Exile website and you're on the forums and you go to the bug post section and you go through hundreds of different posts and then you happen to find this specific one, and if you go to page 390, you'll see here that Timothy says, well, like I already said in another post, we're very aware of this issue. Thanks for your patience. You got me. All right, maybe I shouldn't have even uploaded the video. I mean, that's as good as a response could get. I mean, fuck a tweet, fuck a video, fuck that. Let me get, you know what? Thank you guys. Thank you everybody. Thank you for watching the video. I'm just gonna get out of here. I mean, what the fuck was I thinking making a video about any of this, dude? $500 supporter pack. Yo, dude, we'll fix the crashes when we get to it, all right? Why don't you buy a few skins in the meantime and, you know, let the professionals take care of the rest, all right? Holy shit, it is cold outside.